Coming up, how is the vaccination of children and pregnant women progressing in Kazakhstan? Stay tuned to find out how many people got the long-awaited Pfizer jab. Where there is demand, there will always be supply. Several large enterprises are planned to be launched in Kazakhstan soon. Interweaving of contemporary art and historical motifs of the Great Steppe, a series of exhibition projects Qazaq Eli has opened in Nur-Sultan. Kazakhstan registered a decrease in the number of coronavirus cases again. 769 people were infected in the country in the past day. The highest single-day case count was reported in the city of Almaty. Plus 119 cases were confirmed there. Karaganda region came next with 110 patients. 108 people tested positive for COVID-19 in Kazakhstan's capital. Meanwhile, according to the Interdepartmental Commission, Pavlodar and North Kazakhstan regions are still in the red zone. The situation is slightly better in Nur-Sultan city, as well as in Akmola, Karaganda and Kostanay regions. All other regions are in the safe green zone. More than 35,000 people in Kazakhstan received Pfizer vaccine. Adolescents, nursing and pregnant women continue to get vaccinated. According to Kazakh Health Minister Alexei Tsoi, the immunization is well underway. 645,000 doses of this vaccine were delivered to the country. To date, 35,012 people subject to vaccination received the vaccine. 26,354 out of them are children, and 8,658 are pregnant and nursing women. The vaccine keeps coming every week. Meanwhile, children receive vaccine only with parental consent, the ministry reported. Despite the fact that many parents are skeptical about immunizing their children, experts say that the vaccine is completely safe and does not cause side effects. Pfizer vaccine does not consist of live virus. It does not cause the coronavirus infection. The components of the mRNA vaccine do not have a negative effect on the human body. Do not rely on erroneous information, for example, that this may lead to genetic infertility in the future. The vaccine is safe and has gone through all 3 clinical trials. The coronavirus vaccination campaign in Kazakhstan continues. 7,969,940 people have been immunized with 2 components. The booster vaccination has been actively carried out in the country since yesterday. Pfizer vaccine is 100% effective at preventing disease in children aged from 12 to 15, the developers reported in their statement published on the website of the company. More than 2,000 children took part in clinical trials. According to experts, there were no serious side effects, at least in the past 6 months. In Kazakhstan, children from 12 to 17 years old, as well as pregnant and nursing women, started to be immunized with Pfizer vaccine. The Czech Republic introduced a lockdown for the unvaccinated. The epidemiological situation in the country improved slightly, but the number of infected in hospitals does not decrease. According to the Health Ministry, 203,000 people received treatment in hospitals to date. Now, unvaccinated citizens will not be able to attend crowded events, restaurants and cafes. School children will be obliged to take PCR tests. The same requirement was imposed at large factories. All expenses are reimbursed from the state budget. To date, over 6 million out of 10 million citizens were vaccinated in the Czech Republic. We will pay financial compensation to firms and factories from the state budget for damage that will occur during the lockdown. Only vaccination and confirmation of earlier COVID-19 will be recognized in the service sector and mass events. This is the law. This is not a whim. It will last at least until February. If the situation does not improve, the government has the right to consolidate the program until April. This option has already been discussed with the country's prime minister. A manuscript handwritten by Albert Einstein was put up for auction in Paris. The 54-page work was written from 1913 to 1914, where the famous physicist described the theory of relativity. Einstein's colleague, the Swiss engineer Michel Bessot, preserved and passed the manuscript on to her descendants. Experts estimate that lot's value at several million euros. According to them, this is the most valuable manuscript of one of the greatest physicists of all time ever put for auction.
de travail autographe.
I was especially impressed by the preservation of Einstein's signature when reading this manuscript. He found the correct equation in the first task.
Générale, qui est la découverte probablement la plus...
5 new mechanisms to protect the interests of domestic producers have been developed in Kazakhstan. Minister of Industry and Infrastructure Development Beybut Atamkulov announced at the government's meeting. According to the Industrial Policy Bill, the concept of domestic value will now be introduced. According to Atamkulov, it is internationally recognized and complies with all standards of the World Trade Organization. Also, major subsoil users will now adopt a new program and give preference to the purchase of domestically produced goods.
Дайын өнімді өткізу және ішкі нарықты жаңа тауарлармен толықтыру мақсатында жер қойнауын пайдаланушылар мен ұлттық компаниялардың қатысуымен
Offtake contracts and offset agreements will be used to ensure sales of finished products and to fill the domestic market with new goods, with the participation of subsoil users and national companies. In turn, long-term contracts will ensure the marketing of products from existing industries.
инвестициялар тартуға бағытталады. Ұзақ мерзімді шарттар жұмыс істеп тұрған өндірістердің өнімдерін өткізуді қамтамасыз етеді.
Several new enterprises are planned to be launched in the country in the coming years, Atamkulov informed. Thus, a plant for the production of sheet glass will be built in 2022. The cost of the investment project is over 42 billion tenge. In addition, 3 new ceramic tile plants will be commissioned by 2023 with the participation of foreign investors. These projects will fully meet the needs of the domestic market. In turn, Kazakh Prime Minister Askar Mamin noted that the growth of local content products is steadily increasing. In the first 9 months of this year, the growth rate of local content amounted to 6.4% compared to the same period last year. The planned local content targets were achieved for 7 sectors of the economy of simple things, including in mechanical engineering, pharmaceuticals, light, furniture, chemical, and food industries. The introduction of digital labeling will not affect the final price of shoes. Domestic manufacturers note that a single tagged label would cost them only 4 tenge. They say that the novelty will undoubtedly affect the quality of the footwear products presented on store shelves, because this way any customer can learn everything about the shoes he buys. The data matrix code will be indicated on the label or packaging. It will describe the material from which the product is made, its size, color, and give full information about the manufacturer.
Код маркировки — это такая буквенно-цифровая последовательность, которая будет представлена всем в виде.
A marking code is an alphanumeric sequence that will be presented to everyone as a 2-dimensional code in the form of a data matrix, something similar to a QR code. In general, the marking code cannot be forged in any way or replaced because cryptographic security standards are used to create it.
При формировании кода маркировки используются криптографические стандарты защиты.
Надеемся, что маркировка обуви.
We hope that footwear labeling will boost shoe production in Kazakhstan and will be a support measure for the manufacturer. We started with a pilot project, and then we launched a shoe labeling process on November 1st. The initial order was placed for 3,000 pairs.
Первоначальный заказ поступил на 3000 пар обуви.
In Kazakhstan, the shadow market now accounts for about 48% of footwear. The introduction of digital labeling will make it possible to identify each pair. Data matrix has a large amount of memory.
Импортерам необходимо обеспечивать маркировку произведенных.
Importers need to ensure the labeling of footwear produced outside Kazakhstan prior to their import into the country, or before they are placed under the customs procedure. In order to mark their goods, importers and declarants must obtain permission from the customs authority. That is, he has to go to the State Revenue Department, where the customs warehouse is located. Experts explain that those shoes that were imported into the country before November 1st can be labeled in the simplified system as residues of goods, and they can be sold until April 1st of next year. Kazakhstan will introduce new national standards at the legislative level to regulate the quality and safety of goods and services. They will be supervised by experts of new institutions, including the National Association for Consumer Rights Protection and the Ombudsman Institute. The decision was made after polls conducted by the relevant department. This practice is applied in Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, the United States, and other countries.
Қазіргі уақытта тұтынушылардың құқықтарын қорғау мәселелері бойынша заң жобалар, тұжырымдамаларының жобалары.
Currently, bills, draft concepts, and open provisions for the consumer protection are published on the website and sent to government agencies for approval. Therefore, I urge consumers and business community to actively participate in this work together with government agencies.
Органдармен бірлесіп, осы жұмысқа белсенді қатысуға шақырамын.
The Астында Foundation plans to launch a new project entitled Kazakh Business Camp that will help Kazakh students who returned from abroad open and build their own businesses. This was announced by the advisor to the foundation's president, Didar Bolat, during a meeting with students in the capital. According to him, the vast majority of young people coming from abroad leaves the country again after graduation because they do not see the chance to make their businesses grow in Kazakhstan and are afraid to take risks. Therefore, work is underway on another project to support these students, the experts said.
2010 жылы бұл бағыт негізінде бастаған болатынбыз.
We started this program in 2019. We suspended this work because of the pandemic. The main goal is to support young people who often have a lot of business ideas. We intend to help them develop their businesses and by this increase the number of people successfully employed in entrepreneurship in the country. Nearly 7,000 Kandaz people study in 20 universities of the country today. Most of them came from Mongolia, China, Uzbekistan and Russia. A green oasis in the center of Aktau. Subtropical green spaces have been planted by researchers of the experimental botanical garden. 3 types of palm trees brought from abroad decorated the garden area. Now, Kazakh scientists are wondering if these exotic trees will be able to settle in the region. According to the results of the study of climate indicators of Mangostau, in the past 10 years, the region has observed an above-zero temperature for more than 280 days a year. Such thermometer readings are encouraging. Now, these 1.5-meter palms are being prepared for winter. The botanical garden staff are wrapping a tree trunk with a special cloth. Frost resistance is considered a unique property of these trees. Exotic plants are able to withstand air temperatures of minus 10 degrees Celsius.
Алғашқысында 1-2 ай бізге кішкене
At first, we kept the palms in the containers that we brought in, so that they would adapt to the temperature within 1 or 2 months. The winter was very cold, but thankfully we survived the first frosts.
Қыстың алдында біз осындай ноябрьда аяқтап жабамыз, қысқа дайындаймыз.
A series of exhibition projects, Qazaq Eli, dedicated to the 30th anniversary of Kazakhstan's independence, opened in Nur-Sultan. The expositions presented by items of nomadic lifestyle, unique jewelry and photographs were displayed on 3 floors of the Palace of Peace and Reconciliation. An exhibition of contemporary art, Tulpar, is located on the ground floor, showcasing works of artists from Kazakhstan, Turkey and Moldova. The ground floors were supposed to symbolize the past, so we turned to the image of a horse, which always accompanies Kazakh people throughout their lives from ancient times. We were the first to domesticate the horse. That is why the horse turned out to be such a beautiful and deep image that does not require explanations. We want to create an image of unity. Therefore, we chose exhibits and masterpieces that would be in harmony with subsequent projects. The exhibition will last until the end of January. Perhaps we will extend it a little. An exhibition KBG by Serjan Bashirov also surprises with diversity and wealth. He has been collecting antique household items of nomads for over 30 years. These are items made of wool, bone, metal, wood. The artist makes original silver rings, amulets, charms, and various installations with his own hands.
В данной выставке выставлены казахский текстиль, ковры, тускизы, вышивка и кебеже.
This exhibition shows Kazakh textile, carpets, wall hangings, embroidery, and kebezhe chests, furniture. Since the late 80s, I have been collecting household items of Kazakhs, nomadic life, interior design items for yurts, tools of craftspeople. I invite everyone to the exhibition.
Предметы интерьера юрты, инструменты мастеров, ремесленников. Приглашаю всех на выставку.